What's going on, Aries? How y'all doing? Little fire starters. Sorry I missed your full moon. Um, and what I noticed that was kind of occurring with a lot of the Aries people that are in my life in and around, I think that's about 2 days to maybe even 3 days before the full moon actually occurred, was that I noticed um, the Aries that I'm around a lot in my life, that there were some parts of themselves that were starting to surface, some aspects of themselves that were beginning to surface that even they were like, whoa, that's not cool. Yeah, I don't, that's not really okay. So I'm assuming, wherever the moon is sort of shines a light, right? And the moon, having just been in your first house in Aries, shines a light, illuminates those aspects, those parts of ourselves that we're, our shadow selves, right? So, I definitely noticed that. I'm not sure if that, was something that other Aries, were feeling, but just the Aries that I spend a lot of time with in my life, I noticed that some shadow parts of themselves were sort of beginning to pick up. If your moon is in Aries, that also might be something. So, the Strength card is the general energy first card out. So a lot of you feeling, I say I think when I really mean to say that I feel, and for me, thinking and feeling are kind of, synonymous in a lot of ways. I don't know, the lines get blurred. I'm an Aquarius sun with a Cancer moon, so I have a lot of mental activity and emotional activity. So when I say I think, I mean to say that I feel. But the Strength card, so okay, so a lot of you definitely feeling like you're gaining, I don't want to say gaining the upper hand in a situation, but that there could have been a situation where you felt like you kind of had to do your best to kind of stay on top of it. There could also be some Leos, right, in your corner that are fighting with you in your corner. Let's see what else is coming out for Aries for this month. Aries, October 2017. Aries. And, y'all are also fighters, right? And sometimes when you're constantly, Aries are warriors, right? And there is a lot of, there's a lot of exerting of a lot of strength on your guys' part. There's a lot of, feeling as though you have to go through life, go through your experiences, being incredibly strong, being, kind of being very, very fortified, being very, being ready for anything, right? The fight aspect of fight or flight is very real for you all. Right? And that sometimes you have to kind of strong arm the things that you want. King of Pentacles again on the Tower. So when I was shuffling, I was shuffling for you all earlier, and something happened with the video, so I was like, I'm just going to start over, and this card popped out. So the King of Pentacles, again, here we go. Definitely feeling that a lot of you are either sort of dealing, like there's a power struggle happening between you and an earth sign, potentially, or somebody, a boss even, somebody who you sort of depend on financially. And this is not really a comfortable space for Aries, because the Aries that I know, and what I do know about Aries, I don't have a lot of Aries in my chart. I do have Aries in my fourth house, so even though my mother is a Virgo, there was a very Aries kind of quality to her and the way that I was raised, right? She was a single mother, very independent, didn't want to ask anything from anybody, you know, very strong. Everything was a battle, right? Like she and I always describe our early on, like mine and hers relationship early on when I was growing up, that, you know, we were kind of going through this battle together, right? Like we had to kind of go through all of these things together. But she was a warrior. She was a warrior, tiger mom, warrior mother, warrior woman, totally through and through. And so, yeah, like having Aries in my fourth house, I was raised by a warrior, right? Like I was raised by that. And I have a lot of Aries women, you know, I have Aries women in my life who, you know, talk to me about really wanting to feel independent, right? And really wanting, like, not wanting to ask for anything ever. And I think a lot of signs, a lot of people in general, right, can agree with that, whether you're an Aries or not. But I do feel that, especially with Aries being the first sign of the zodiac, right, having to go out for yourself and to explore and to sort of, you know, make your own, right? You know, look out for your own. There is this sense of like, I have to do this alone and I have to figure it out by myself. So I'm definitely, you know, this King of Pentacles is back out again. And so I'm feeling that there could be a power struggle between you and an earth sign. You and somebody who is trying to kind of maybe hold something over your head financially. Maybe it's even a partner who's like, I can help you out financially, but you're not really feeling that, right? And this Tower is coming out. You know, you all just had that full moon in Aries, that full moon in your first house. So, there could be, you know, there could be some aspects regarding your independence, regarding your financial security. Some of you are maybe having to work doubly hard or work really hard at work right now. And you're just kind of barely holding on. And it's bringing up some fear about your security, right? The first house, to me, for me, also represents how we feel secure within ourselves, how we assert ourselves, right? Like how we sort of are able to take care of ourselves. So let's see. And I believe as of now, the moon is transiting through Taurus. So let's see what else is going on for Aries for the month of October 2017. Okay, Two of Wands. I feel that this is you all again, right? Four of Wands. Yeah, there's like a struggle to sort of keep it together. And for those of you who are new to my channel, I tend to read up and down. Also, if you're new to my channel, you know, this reading is a general reading. It may not be for every Aries, right? Or if you're an Aries moon, it'll apply to you, or an Aries rising, or you may have Aries all over your chart and this may not apply to you at all. So if it doesn't apply to you, you know, I get it. I understand. Just there are other videos out there for you to check out. And so, yeah, so that's kind of my message. Okay, so we have a lot of Wands energy. And we're in Libra season right now, right? So and that this is not really like, you know, being your opposite sign. Aries is very much about how do I assert my own will, whereas Libra is about how do I harmonize, how can I take, you know, these two, you know, desires, the wills of these two people, and sort of how am I able to sort of harmonize and balance these two things out. And it's not so much about asserting one's own will, but balancing one's energy out with another. Balancing one's needs and wants out with another, right? And I feel that there is sort of this, and we've talked about this before in other videos, Aries, where there has been a need to really look at relationships and look at how you're balancing with people, look at how you're sort of conflicting with people, and how to really sort of bring about, like, how can I you know, in each of us lives our opposing sign, right? I'm an Aquarius, so deep within me lives a Leo, right? You're an Aries, deep within you lives a Libra. And so what is it, how, like, where does that Libra energy have, you know, find its place to express itself? These did not flip over, but these did. Okay, Knight of Pentacles. So I do want to clarify this Tower card just to get a better sense of like what's, because this is a big energy here. These two energies are big energies. So, but I do want to clarify this Tower card and possibly the Strength card so we can get a bigger picture. Can I get clarification for the Tower, please? The Hanged Man. It's like another bigger energy for another bigger energy. Okay. So let's get into the reading. So as I've mentioned before, you know, this was the general energy that sort of popped out for you all, the Strength card. And now we have this Earth sign here sitting next to what I believe to be your energy, right? What I believe to be where Aries is kind of at right now. And I do feel that there's a power struggle. I do feel that, you know, we have this Five of Wands underneath this King of Pentacles. And the Five of Wands to me can, you know, it can mean, you know, people are in your corner, creative support, creative energy, but I'm reading it kind of on its face as conflict with this person. Sorry, camera froze. So what was I saying? I believe I was talking about the conflict that may be occurring between you and this King of Pentacles. And I don't believe that this King of Pentacles is necessarily a bad energy. I don't believe that this King of Pentacles is an energy that you need to like sort of expel or get rid of from your life. What I'm getting with the Hanged Man over the Tower and even kind of over this King of Pentacles is that there's sort of a lesson. There's sort of, you know, a new perspective to be gained, right? And y'all just had Jupiter in your 7th house, right? And so Jupiter came into your 7th house, which is your house of partnerships, relationships. It's the Libra house. Partnerships, relationships, one-on-one relationships, harmonization, contracts, business partnerships, business contracts. So Jupiter came into your house of relating, of one-on-one relating, and brought you blessings, brought you expansion, brought you new opportunities in that area, right? So there were new opportunities for you to learn how to really harmonize one-on-one with people, whether that was through developing closer romantic or intimate relationships with your significant other, or whether that was about, you know, developing closer friendships or more developing one-on-one relationships, right? So you just had Jupiter there. Jupiter is getting ready to now, Jupiter is sort of doing its dance. It's moving towards Scorpio, which is now going to be in your 8th house. So Jupiter is making its way from your 7th to your 8th house. And so the 7th house is not really for the archetype of Aries, right? Like Aries, you know, definitely, you know, especially when I see people that have Venus or Mars in Aries, like there definitely is this desire, right, to want a relationship. There can be this desire to really, you know, there's passion, right? There's passion there, especially when I see, like I said before, when I see Mars, or Mars and Venus and Aries, like it gives a passionate, right? Sort of lover or somebody that pursues things very passionately, right? So if there's somebody that you definitely want or that you find very attractive, you're going to go for it, right? And this King of Pentacles energy can be a little bit hard to read. This King of Pentacles energy is a bit stoic, and may not be mirroring back your same passions, right? You know, underneath you, there's all of this, there are these wands, and I'm reading this really as being your energy. And this could be you too, but we'll see when we get there, because I'm not really, this Queen of Wands, Yeah, it could definitely be you, but I feel like it could also be another energy coming in, but let's see when we get there. So this King of Pentacles energy, as Jupiter's been in your seventh house, there could have been an opportunity, right? There could have been a new person, a new love relationship, because not Saturn, Saturn brings problems. Jupiter brings opportunities, and Jupiter brings new growth, new expansion, good luck, blessings wherever it goes, right? And so this energy might have come in, right? And this energy, like I said before, is a bit stoic, is a bit hard to read, and may not mirror back your passion, may have a different way of going after you, right? And I can understand that, right? Because my Mars is in Taurus. So when I like somebody, I tend to kind of sit back and be incredibly observant. And I tend to sort of, like, my Mars is an earth sign, so I tend to be a little bit more like, I'm wearing a poker face for now, and then I'm gonna play my cards when the timing is just right. It can be a bit calculating, right? Whereas Aries, if you see something that you want, right, being that ruler of the first house, being ruled by Mars, that there is this impulse to be like, I'm going for it. I am like, and that is, what I really admire about you all is your ability to really assert yourselves and to really go after what it is that you want, to express yourselves, to really be set in what it is, in what it is that you believe, to be true, right, with it, about yourself and within your own values. And Aries are very stick very strongly to who they believe themselves to be, right? Because that first house is all about who I believe myself to be in my relationship to that, and how I allow that to be projected into the world around me. So underneath you here, we have this Four of Wands, which is like, it's a solid foundation. It's joy, it's happiness, it's new beginnings with this person, it's passion, it's new passion. It's like and wands to me represent passion in general, right? So there is this sort of passion that you are feeling, with this, towards this person. But there's like a struggle going on, right? It's like you're very strong. You're giving it all your all, right? Like this vision that you have here is sort of like, you feel incredibly strong. You feel very, very strong about this, attaining this down here, almost to the point where you're ready to kind of manhandle it and assert your will upon it and make it look and feel how you need to make it look and feel. Right? It's like, oh, great, Jupiter's giving me this new opportunity. I am going to take it and run with it, right? But then underneath this person here, it's like you're running into like, oh, but like, this person's presenting a bit of a challenge to me. But you all might like that, right? You all might like that. I do feel that Aries, being ruled by Mars, can really enjoy a good challenge. Y'all like a good challenge. Y'all, you think like this energy might even excite you a little bit. Like, oh, like okay. They don't know who I am. They don't know that I'm an Aries. They don't know me. Like, it's okay. They're gonna learn. They're gonna learn today. They're gonna learn real soon who I am, right? This tower, though, because at first I felt that, like, whatever was going on between you and this person was sort of presenting a challenge that was making you feel uncomfortable, but I'm not, and the Hanged Man has now come up, and I really do feel that the tower for me represents, it's a Scorpio card. Death and the Tower for me are Scorpio cards. I read it as also representing Scorpio energy coming in. Pluto energy, like when this comes up for Capricorn, I'm like, yep, there's Pluto in that first house again, you guys. But for me, this Tower card Also, sorry, someone just texted me, also can really represent, that transition of Jupiter moving into the eighth house, of Jupiter moving into your eighth house, that Scorpio house. And then it's no longer, right, that like relationships, like, and that like also, observing how you're sort of doing relationships, right? Are relationships something to sort of be conquered, right? To sort of have victory over, like, or how are you doing this relationship thing? Like, how are you sort of approaching this person? And I know I already pulled, let me continue going on, because I get sidetracked. I get sidetracked with like one thought comes in and the other one goes out the window. But how are you doing relationships? Are relationships for you something to be conquered, right? Because with Libra, it's not about conquering this person. With Jupiter being in Libra and us being in Libra season and that being your sister sign, that part of you, the other side of your coin, right? That other side of your Aries coin, where it's not about conquering and where it's not about dominating and exerting your will all over the place, but it's also about, being able to recognize, oh, like, how can I actually blend my energies with this person here? Like, how can I actually, not look at people or relationships as something that I kind of have to get a handle on, and instead as something that like, I can actually harmonize with, right? And now that we're going to have Jupiter moving from your 7th to your 8th house, there's now going to be an emphasis, right? On like, okay, you've learned how to harmonize. Now we're going to take it to another level and actually merge. Like now we're going to actually, merge our energies. We're going to come together with people, in a deeper, more emotional, psychological, psychic way, even. I do want to get more clarification for the Tower, though, because the Hangman came out as clarification. And I do feel that the Tower, something that comes in, as you are getting deeper and deeper and deeper with this person, right? That relationship, this whatever connection you're building with this King of Pentacles, that is sort of, challenging you, but in fun and games, because you actually enjoy it, right? You actually enjoy the chase a little bit, right? Especially if you're watching this in your Venus and your Mars are also in Aries, right? That there's a piece of you that in love and in going after what it is that you love, right? Because that's the relationship between Mars and Venus, that there's like that a challenge, right? You all are warriors. So any situation that allows you to put on your war paint, really kind of, gets you going a little bit. And with this Tower card here, as this relationship sort of gets deeper and deeper and deeper, there's also sort of this realization that, Scorpio, no matter which way, Scorpio, 8th house, Pluto, no matter which way you spin it, no matter what aspects you're looking at, can be uncomfortable. Because Scorpio is all about destroying and purifying. There's a purity here to this Hanged Man, right? Like this Hanged Man is pure in thought, right? That their convictions, their beliefs, they were such a martyr for what they believed in, that their belief, their love for their convictions is so pure, that they were willing to be hung from this thing upside down, right? And that there's almost this saint-like, pure-like, innocent sort of halo surrounding them, that allows them to see things differently than other people. That allows this Hangman is able to get to the heart of issues, or is able to kind of see, things deduced to their purest form, right? As a result of being here. But I want to get more clarification for the Tower card. More clarity for the Tower, please. Why is the Tower here for Aries? Okay. So there is an opportunity coming in. Or, okay, so what you have been waiting for, right? And I feel like there's a lot of wands in here. So I do feel that y'all, if you are dating or if you are sort of pursuing somebody, there is a lot of active, like you've done a lot. You've put a lot of effort and work into trying to pursue this person. And so now we have this Three of Wands here. And so you've been waiting to hear from this person. You've been waiting to hear, you've been waiting to hear a response, and I believe an offer comes in. But I'm not really feeling a connection between these two energies. One, because they're of two different suits. And two, because when the cards fell out, I was like, here, is this another person? So potentially what could be sort of rattling you a little bit or throwing you for a loop is that there's an offer that comes in potentially from a water sign, a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. And that would make sense, seeing as though Jupiter is moving into your 8th house, right? So, definitely look out for your relationships with Scorpios. And sorry, my computer froze again. My computer seems to freeze a lot during the Aries videos. So, what was I saying? I lose all train of thought. So the Three of Wands and the Page of Cups are out, also in clarification for the Tower. New messages, new offers of love coming in that you sort of have been waiting for, that you've been wanting. A lot of signs this month, I feel like, have multiple options. I feel like, some signs have more than one option on the table. People date multiple people all the time, right? This is a thing that happens, but being very mindful of not collecting suitors. I guess that just kind of came to mind, like being mindful of how that the 7th house is not a house that we now get to go into and just sort of dominate and conquer and collect these suitors or collect different prospects and kind of line them up and, see what's going to happen with each one. But it's more so about like learning how to sit with one person, a one-on-one relation. How do I sit with one person? How can I just be still for a minute? Right? Aries, y'all have so much energy. Y'all are ready to go all the time. There's a lot of energy, there's a lot of action, there's a lot of desire for motion and for forward moving motion, right? When we're talking about the Aries archetype. And even with this person here, with this Two of Wands energy, that there is this readiness to sort of move out and to pursue an option, to pursue whatever passion this wand represents. But there's still something back here. There's still something back here that I feel needs to be closed off, that I feel that you may need to look at and kind of reconcile a little bit. And that, usually the Two of Wands for me is a great card in the sense that this person has these two options, these two possibilities, and they're not like, there is a sense of focus. There's still like the sense of focus, not on either one of these options, but more so on the world, right? that like my possibilities are endless, and I have these two options. They're great, but regardless of what happens, I see my future ahead of me, and I see, possibilities ahead of me, and I'm not, but I feel that in this instance there might need to be a little bit, like there's a sense of detachment from these two wands, I guess is what I'm looking for. That these wands are, like I said before, they're options, they're possibilities, but this person is not like overwhelmed by like the duality of these two options here. They're focused on this world. They're focused on what's before them in the world. But I do feel that in this situation, there may need to be a pause and a look, right? Like a more attached or a more sort of compassionate or a more sort of empathetic, more personalized look. Like maybe you can look at these wands and get a little bit more attached or invested in how long they've been there, maybe what they provided for you thus far, right? And not so much treating people or treating these two wands like they're options, right? Like, and if these two wands represent two people, that sometimes people can sense when they're being sort of treated like options. That people can sense when they're being treated like, like I'm just an option, and I'm being prioritized in some kind of way. There's a list of people that's being kind of built, right? And even with this person, this guy has 3 wands, right? And it's like these 3 wands are kind of, these 2 wands are kind of standing back here, and they'll be here whether he turns around or not, right? They're hoping that he'll turn around and sort of grab them or pick them and recognize like, hey, we've been standing back here too while you've been holding this one and kind of looking out into the horizon for something even better, right? For new offers, right? And I believe that something happens where, and I feel that this King of Pentacles can also sense that a little bit. And so it's like you're trying to sort of conquer them. Not conquer is like a really harsh word, but you're trying to get them to see you, and they're just not, right? This king is looking at their pentacle, and it's like there's a lot of stuff that you're trying to do in and around them that's just not, you're not really getting their attention. But, as Jupiter's moving into the 8th house, as Jupiter's moving from house to house to house in each and every sign, right? Jupiter also wants to know, like, did you learn the lessons that I tried to show you in the previous transit? Like, did you learn anything from my 7th house transit? Did you gain anything? Did you gain any lessons? Or did you I'm Jupiter, I have a lot to offer you, so I'm going to give you all kinds of options. I'm going to give you all kinds of people for you to, to engage with and to sort of hang out with and to see as potential suitors or potential, new partners, long-term partners. But are you actually also putting in the work of sitting, being with this person? Are you putting in the work of learning how to harmonize? Are you putting in the work of not trying to dominate or exert your will over another person for your own sort of conquering or for your own sort of, that's not to say that Aries aren't people that, like relationships. I feel that a lot of Aries can be very passionate about relationships, but there can also be the sense that, if there's too much fire, passion is a beautiful thing to have, but we also need to have practicality. We also need to have a realistic view and a realistic sense of what's going on. Are me and this person compatible? Are there things, I like this person a lot, but there are things that I do that upset them. Am I able to sort of, balance out, or do I want my way all the time, right? What are you willing to sort of compromise and give to Jupiter in exchange for having this right here, right? So people can feel when they're being sort of mixed and matched and prioritized, and I'll grab you today and then I'll put you back and I'll grab you on Wednesday, and then people can feel that. And if you're an Aries who's not doing this, then, this reading, I guess, isn't for you, but this is what I'm picking up on. Can I get clarification for the Queen of Wands? So another Wands. So now we have this other energy here, this Queen of Wands energy. There's a lot of people. And I do feel that at the end of the day, this King of Pentacles sort of, I don't want to say wins out, but this Queen of Wands here feels a bit like it's fire and fire, right? It could be another Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. I'm really feeling another Aries, or I'm really feeling possibly an extremely fiery Leo, or somebody that has a lot of Aries in their chart. And I'm feeling that, with this Ten of Wands popping out to clarify this Queen of Wands, that this is a situation that is yes, can be very passionate, has been very fun, but I feel like it's also kind of burning you out a little bit. It's becoming more work now. It's like the consequences, right, of maybe you all have hung out a lot and then you end up skipping work on multiple days, or responsibilities aren't getting handled because there's a lot happening with this person, and now you have to work extra hard, right, to make up those days off, or to make up for the work that you didn't do, to make up for responsibilities that you didn't handle because you were off sort of gallivanting around with this Queen of Wands. This Knight of Pentacles, I'm sorry I'm having to sort of piece this together. But like I mentioned before, I don't have a lot of Aries in my chart. Mars is very active in my chart, but so I have a hard time sometimes reading for you all. More Wands. Ace of Wands and Eight of Wands. And I was asking, I kind of wanted to get clarity on this Knight of Pentacles. So I do believe that, whatever you felt like wasn't sort of, whatever jam you felt like you were in with this person, this King of Pentacles, this king starts moving, right? This king actually starts making moves, and it's like, all right, I guess I'll make some moves. And the Knight of Wands is very slow, nonetheless is moving a lot faster than this king, because he's actually moving. So, and I see in that movement new opportunity and things actually speeding up between you and this person, right? I see new opportunities. Now, word of caution, word to the wise. I'm seeing a lot of wands here. We have the Ace of Wands. I think we have actually everything but the 6 and 7 of Wands. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, missing the 9, and here's the 10. And we have the Queen of Wands. So there's a lot of fieriness, there's a lot of passion, and I do feel that a lot of you are really just feeling I just want to go, let's go, I want to get into this relationship, I want to, this person is here, and I've had these other options that you really actually are kind of, I feel, turning your back on, right? Word to the wise, I'm not seeing a lot of cups here. And even though this person in and of themselves is an earth energy and is showing up as the pentacles, so that there's some stableness to them, there's some sturdiness, I'm not really seeing a lot of pentacles for you. I'm seeing fire. And so being mindful of the fact that while fire burns hot, it can burn fast, right? Ace of Wands usually represents opportunities that come quick but don't last very long. Eight of Wands usually represents communication coming in fast but fizzles out very quickly, right? And then you're kind of left to deal with, the aftermath. So my advice to you is to, if you're going to enter into a relationship, if you are going, yes, passion is great, but also be mindful of where where it might be burning too hot and burning out too fast with this person. Because this king, this pentacles, also is not somebody that you can't move on. You can't get an earth sign to do whatever they don't want to do. And same thing with an Aries, but an earth sign, like an Aries will do it out of like stubbornness, or will do it not out of stubbornness, but will do it out of trying to prove a point in the fact that they can assert their will over the other person. Like an Aries won't move and won't do things, because like they won't do shit if you tell them to, out of being like, I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. I'm the boss of me. You're not the boss of me, right? Earth sign, a Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, mainly a Taurus. So if this is a Taurus, like good luck trying to get them to budge or to bend to your will. Aren't going to bend to your will, not because they're trying to prove a point, but because they're about, no, I'm taking my time. Don't you get it? Like, I'm taking my time. I'm not going to move fast. Don't push me. That's not my mode of operation. That's not my setting. My setting is slow and steady wins the race. So, but it looks like you want to go for it. Go for it. But be mindful of how you prioritize people and how you're sort of treating your different options as, check boxes on a list. And this King of Pentacles definitely is going to kind of come around, right? And you're going to kind of pounce on it as fast as you can. Let's get an outcome card for Aries for October 2017. Outcome for Aries, October 2017. Ten of Swords. So I think some of you are kind of draining yourselves of your energy. Like, I mean, I mentioned this before. There's a lot of Wands in here. And I feel that, yes, Aries, fire signs in general have, massive reserves of energy, but, they're not limitless. There's a limit, right, to them. And I also am reading this as like whatever sort of all these different options that you sort of have been sort of slowly collecting, that it could potentially backfire. Right? It could come back and stab you in the back, right? Be mindful, right? Of like who you tell who. Like, be mindful of what information you sort of give to other people. Because these swords may represent information that's coming back to sort of haunt you or to stab you, right? And it could be like that, this Page of Cups and this Queen of Wands knows each other, or like somehow have a mutual friend, and information gets around that you've been dating with at the same time, and you may have told the Queen of Wands that you weren't seeing anybody else. So just be mindful of that kind of stuff, right? Like, are you telling one person another story and another person a different story? And if so, be really careful, because karma, right, comes back in the most unlikely of ways, and sometimes in the most simplest of ways as well. And especially with these having been clarified by the Tower, there's a situation, and there's two people here, right, in this Tower card. There's a situation between you and another person that wasn't built on like a sturdy foundation, that needed to collapse. And I feel like, there's a lot going on. These two people are all attached to the Tower card in some way. So just be mindful of what is sort of revealed as the month goes by, especially regarding, if you have multiple people that you're dating and you may not have been completely honest with everybody about how many people you're dating or what's going on. Just be mindful of that. So yeah, that is your reading, Aries. Sorry we got cut off and then I had to restart the video again and it froze a few times, but that's your reading. I hope that this resonated with some of you, and if you'd like a personal reading with me, you can contact me. All of my contact info for my website and my email is in the description box below, and I hope you all have a good month, and I will see you all in November. All right, bye, Aries.